Remember to turn on all notifications so you don't miss a video. This is my second part responding to comments. I think the next video I will check out are my Chainsaw Man shorts, because those ones got a lot of hate as well. Now, I think there's some interesting comments there. I think I'll start with Chainsaw Man is horrible. That's what I've renamed it. Alright, here's the first interesting one. Lamau, quote, there is no build up for the antagonist, quote, then proceeds to describe an arc that builds up the antagonist and called it a waste of time. See, this is what we call taking things out of context. Let's go to the part of the video that I was talking about. I said sometimes enemies show up with no build up at all. And then I said and half the time the build up is rushed. And then I said a lot of the time it feels like things are being rushed. And then that's why the Makima and Gun Devil image was up. It was up because of rush too, because I feel like the Makima plot twist was very rushed. It was built up. I will agree to that. I never said it wasn't built up. I never specified what I was talking about. I was just showing images. I was transitioning to what I was about to say next. And I do that a lot. But for you to just assume that that's what I was implying, that the Makima was not built up, that's you arguing in bad faith. And while I'm on that Gun Devil Makima image, I'm continuing talking about how the Gun Devil was rushed and confused and it was disorienting. So if you actually had some faith in me, you would know that that's not what I was arguing. I'm going to try and find more comments where I actually replied a lot to. But one here says, you couldn't find a single person criticizing on Chainsaw Man. It just proves that Chainsaw Man is well written within the context of the story. No, that is the bandwagon fallacy, where you're saying because more people believe it, that means it's right. If you disagree, you are missing the core reason why this is great. No, it could be that I understand why people like it. I just think that there are multiple flaws that hinder my ability to truly enjoy it. Yeah, the ones who are doing reaction trailers and the ones who are hyping up for wrong reasons are idiots and do not know how to hype it up, because hype it up are the ones you should criticize. No, I can criticize everyone because I think there are a lot of flaws with the story and I'm pointing them out, and that's why I dislike it. Here's an interesting one. I've read Chainsaw Man in one sitting. The story sucks. He's basically quoting me. Yeah, okay, anyway, which mangas do you enjoy? Alright, so a lot of things that Chainsaw Man fans will try to say is that you read it. They will look for reasons to justify you disliking it, but they will try to make you look like you're in the wrong. For example, the first step is you didn't finish the manga. That's why you don't like it. But if you finished the manga, you would have liked it. Well, you can't use that on me because I finished the manga and I didn't like it. And then the next criticism is you read it in one sitting. That's why you don't like it. That's not why I don't like it. You're unable to understand that someone like me can read something in one sitting and analyze the story and come to a conclusion of whether they like it or not, and then reread it and have that same conclusion. You think that you have to read something slowly in order to truly understand it. That's just not true. I was reading it at a regular pace, and I just did all of it in one day. And then the thing is, my counter is that I think I've said in the comments before, if I had said Chainsaw Man was one of the greatest manga of all time and that I read it in one sitting, you would not be criticizing me. You're just looking for flaws so that you can point out in me. You're not looking for flaws in my arguments. You're looking for flaws in me so that you can defend Chainsaw Man. Then the next level is like, I said I didn't really understand the themes. The reason I said that is because I don't understand the theme to the level that I understand other stories. Like other stories, I can tell you the theme and I can give you examples of how characters were punished for going against the theme, and then promoted and glorified for standing up for the theme. They were rewarded for going on the side of the theme, and I could go on intense detailed breakdowns. I can't do that for Chainsaw Man. I could probably name some basic generic themes that the story had, like don't just trust someone that you don't actually know, don't simp basically. But I don't understand it to a deeper level. I don't know the themes to a deeper level. I don't even know if there are themes on that a deeper level. For example, JoJo doesn't really have that most of the time. So that's why I said I don't really understand the themes. And as I said, if I understood the themes to a deeper level, I don't think that would not change my mind, because it fails on all of these other pillars. It fails on the characters, it fails on the plot, and the setting is just okay. It's not amazing. It's not like there's a great power system or anything. So that's still not going to change my mind. You fail on 2 out of 4 of the pillars. Here is an actual legitimate argument. This video is full of generalizations and weak points. Alright, then name them. Power, Denji, and Aki's past are generally flushed out the same amount. No, they're not. And no past really overshadows the other just because Aki's family would. Hold on. What was Power's past? All we know is that she had a cat that she liked. And was it a cat? I believe so. And then what's Denji's past? We know that he was treated like a dog. We saw it a little bit in the first chapter. That's really it. And then just because Aki's family was killed by the Gun Devil along with a bunch of people doesn't make it stronger or more fleshed out than Denji's backstory or even Powers. I think it is more fleshed out because we even see flashbacks of him with Hibeno, I believe. We see more of his actual backstory. We see more scenes from them. We hear more about it, and his backstory is more fleshed out because I believe it's more fleshed out because it actually changes his character in an interesting way. And then Denji's backstory, or even Powers, whose backstory isn't very impactful, but still makes you connect with her and understand what drives her to do what she does. I don't know if the cat backstory does that, but I'd need to reread it. Personally, I found Denji's backstory much more genuine and creative compared to Aki's backstory, which is the basic bad guy kills blah blah blah. Basic, just because something is generic does not mean it is bad, and just because something is different does not mean it is good. Basically, I don't see why you think Aki's the only good character and everyone else is shit. I said Aki's the only good character, but immediately after that, I said that Denji and Power were also good. I mean, I think Makima is okay as well, but she was an antagonist, so I didn't really talk about her. I was talking more about the good guys. I guess I could have talked about her. I don't really see anything special to her. I'd need to reread it. I can't remember what her goal was. She was an interesting character in how she manipulated the main character. I don't think I've seen that many times in other stories, but I don't think it was great. There's still a lot of meh characters. This guy wanted backstories for all of them like he's a hardcore Naruto fan, bro. Naruto does not always have backstories for its characters, and some of those characters still manage to be good. Like, what's Shikamaru's backstory? Here's another quote from the guy from before. One of the top videos that pop up when you type Chainsaw Man is in the search bar. In search bars, Chainsaw Man, it was almost perfect. If you watch that video, you'd understand why Chainsaw Man definitely doesn't suck, even if it's not your type of story. That doesn't make sense. Alright, so first, he says you'd understand why Chainsaw Man is definitely great by watching this one person's video. Okay, does that one person talk about the things that I talk about, or do they just compliment them on things that are completely separate to my criticisms? I think it's the latter. And then he said it definitely doesn't suck even if it's not your type of story. That's not how it works. There's no such thing as an objectively good story, so you can't really say that. Here's another comment that I responded to, but this was long. Let's see. It is well written. You just didn't understand what it was about from what I could see. You see, that's what I was talking about. You didn't understand. But if I said it was amazing and the video was just completely shallow without me actually giving reasons as to why it was amazing, you would be on my jock. You would be like, oh, you go. Yeah, glad to welcome you into the community. Alright, no offense or anything. Your opinion on the work is subjective. So are all opinions. Who'da thunk? And what you reproach is... And what you reproach it are not necessarily defects. Well, they are defects to me. Each person has their own standard for storytelling, and they are defects to me. They are faults for you because you didn't know how to see what it was bringing. Bro, I could say that about any story. If that argument is valid, we could use that about any story, and then story criticism just would not exist. It would not be valuable. I can see with the video that you didn't necessarily understand the theme of the first part. I already explained that. Especially if you say that Denji's character is okay, knowing the development he had during the series. So I'm not allowed to have the opinion that Denji is just an okay character. You can't say it's badly written. I can, and I did. Power's writing from the beginning to the end, it's not badly written. It's rushed for sure. But to say that it's bad knowing that he manages to fill those gaps, it's exaggerated, isn't it? Why are you talking about Power? I didn't say Power's writing was bad. I said she was an okay character. So yes, it can be confusing, but badly written? No, yes it can be. It's not the only manga, and it won't be the last one to be confusing knowing that it's still readable. I don't know what your point is there. Basically, you blame it on particular expectations that should make it a good manga. Yes, that's what we call a grading system. That should be based on certain rules. Yes, my rules. That's what every person does. Except if you analyze the manga as a basic shonen manga, you risk, as you probably did, miss a lot of elements, because everything you reproach is a question of style. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I missed anything. Well, it doesn't give examples. How the author brings the characters, how he develops, how he tells his manga, the flashbacks. Apart from the main cast, we don't need the flashbacks of others. I don't know what he's saying, but flashbacks can develop a character, and I'm saying a lot of the characters were not developed. I don't know what all those examples he was talking about. I guess he's saying those are good things, but I'm talking about the bad things about the manga. That's what a lot of you are not understanding. Let me see. The treatment of the dead, AOT does the same thing though. Does it? AOT revives characters? This is the story of Denji and a Chainsaw Man. A flashback of Beam, of Santa Claus, Kobeni is not really necessary. I didn't say every character needed a flashback. I was just saying that generally characters would be developed. Generally characters that have flashbacks would be developed, and a lot of these characters did not have flashbacks or were developed at all. Flashback was just the main example of development I was giving. By the way, did you know that the final part of the story Chainsaw Man is Pochito who is in control? Well, it's your right. What? How is that relevant? Well, it's your right to not like it, but to say that it sucks is very reductive. How? If I don't like it, then it sucks to me. That's how it works. But it's your opinion and your taste. A lot of video analysis on the work. If you don't understand its popularity, try to understand. Well, when I was saying I don't understand its popularity, that was kind of. It was not literal. Like, I can see why people like it because it has boobs, it's raunchy, it's edgy, it's violent. I don't like using the word edgy because there's not really a definition for it. It's violent, it's bloody, it has gore, it has a horny main character that people can probably relate to. I would say that's why I think it's popular. But when I say I don't understand how people think it's popular, I'm saying like I don't understand how you can enjoy good writing and like this. That's what I'm saying. It's not literal. I think most of you probably understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't understand its popularity, try to understand its popularity from other people's point of view on YouTube. I don't need to. They're going to say things like, oh, it has good plot, it has good characters, it has good themes, it has good art. Like, it's predictable. You can always disagree on the faults/qualities of the work, but you will never understand, but you will understand better the opinion of others. I understand the opinion, and there are a lot of comments here, so I think I'm understanding the way Chainsaw Man fans think, or at least the Chainsaw Man fans that dislike what I'm saying, and I've seen in my video. And knowing that part two, the author himself says that there are points that could not put in the first part, so you can see for yourself it is still bad, but the work itself is not finished. Again, a work being finished does not mean that it's free from criticism. There's one here with 55 replies. I think this is one of my iconic moments in the comment section. It's Google me E. I don't know what the themes are in the show, so the story sucks. What? And then I say you're intentionally misquoting me, and we go back and forth, and this person just kind of shows a lot of the things that the people do in this comment section. They would misquote me, they would straw man me, they're not actually using the arguments that I said. They would use logic like I said before, you don't like it because you didn't finish it, you don't like it because you didn't understand the themes, you don't like it because X, Y, Z, because you read it in one sitting. But if I said that I liked it, despite all of these things, if I said I liked it but I didn't understand the themes, I read it in one sitting, I didn't finish it, people would be in support of me, because that's all they think about. They're not. First they have their opinion, they're like, I don't like this guy's opinion, and then they try to legitimize it in some way. Then in my recent short, Chainsaw Man is terrible, there are some very intelligent comments. Major L, Lamau, wow, that hurts. I'm gonna have to cry myself to sleep. I'm still waiting for the explanation, Lamau. Crossbone. Okay, yeah, I gave the explanation, I went even in further detail in the full video, but he probably didn't read that. Probably didn't watch that. I mean, you really need to read it twice, Lamau. I'm not saying you should, but it's really fast paced. Again, assuming that a person is incapable of understanding a story by reading it in one sitting. I never said how fast I read it. I never said what amount of time between this here to here, how many hours I took reading it. I just said that I read it in one sitting. Alright, let's see. L, yikes. Reading it all in one sitting. That's all I needed to not listen to your opinion. Ouch. You sound like someone who simped for Makima but got pissed when she turned out to be a villain. I knew she was a villain to begin with because I had already seen spoilers for the story. So yeah, no, I don't simp for people. I hate on the popular things. Guys, aren't I quirky and different? Well, if you actually took a scroll through my channel, you would see that I actually have a lot of basic opinions. Well, I wouldn't call them basic. I guess the premise itself is kind of basic, but my arguments are unique. Like, for example, I like the big three. I like Dragon Ball Z. I like Fairy Tail. I like Black Clover. I like Hero Academia. That's pretty basic. L, and then another L. Wow. Very, very insightful. Dang, that hurts my feelings. They really broke down my arguments there, didn't they? Alright, now this one is from my video, How to Dig Your Own Grave. This is Dragon Treasure's actual response. If the duck in the car sand didn't white upwards, how did one phone? End quote. This is about how this sounds to me. Okay, so he's making fun of my argument, but he's not actually supporting it. That was a useless quote. I'm gonna destroy this man. He doesn't care. Okay, he's quoting me. I'm gonna destroy this man. He doesn't care and his bad faith. But this isn't personal or anything. End quote. I never said I was going to destroy you. I might have said I was going to surgically dissect your arguments, but I never said I was going to destroy you. You try to build your channel off of finding people with more subs and trying to grow from that. That's not a good thing. Okay, first of all, that's a lie. That can be a good thing. Multiple people have become successful like that. And then I don't build my channel off of that. I've had like maybe 8 response videos out of 300 videos. I'm not building my channel off of that. I'm doing that because it's an interesting mental exercise for me. It adds more variety to my content, and I liked when other people did it. I was watching other commentary channels and they were responding, and I was like, this makes them look smart. It shows their analytical thinking in a different way than if they were just making their own arguments. And the reason I'm also doing this is so that I can dispel these videos that I think are harmful to writers. Alright, that's not a good thing. My favorite part of the video, which almost outdoes Donzo, is saying that Rock Lee opening a gate or Choji popping a pill is a strategy. I actually have a video on that coming soon. I do believe that those are strategies. If we go by that low level of standards, I don't think there's any anime in existence that couldn't be called strategic. Actually, there are. If 2 characters are just wildly punching at each other without any strategy for the entirety of a fight, then that's not a strategy. The reason I call these strategies is because they actually changed the way the fight was going. So you're strawmanning me. Your arguments are terrible, and you try to grow by being a standard edgy boy on YouTube. I don't understand how I'm edgy. That's why I don't like the word edgy. How am I edgy? Because I reject your notion? How is that edgy? I didn't insult you in the video. I was very polite. I just argued my arguments and countered your arguments. In fact, liking Naruto is a more standard opinion. Disliking Naruto and calling it terrible, saying it destroyed its world building, that is more edgy. But it's not personal, bro. Just principle, trust me. It is a principle. I have gone against Uber Hikari, a YouTuber that I said I actually respect. He's probably one of my top 5 anime analysts on YouTube. And I went against his video because I was like, I think he made some bad points in this video, so I'm going to respond to it. And then here's my psychological analysis. Sometimes it can be annoying when people psychologically try to analyze someone. Like, I don't like when people do it to me because they don't do it well. That's my main point. They're not doing it well, but here I'm actually going to try and do it well. So first off, he made his first video. He made his second video. I'm going to start with my first video. In my first response video, he actually replied to me, didn't he? And based off of what I said in the actual video, How to Dig Your Own Grave, which is the second one, he kind of edged me on kind of pushed me into watching his second video and replying to it, because he said, oh, you didn't even watch my second video. This is arguing in bad faith. He's basically trying to strike at my ego and trying to get me to watch a second video and potentially reply to it. And I let it work because I was like, this could be beneficial for me. So he was fine with me making the first video. But then when it comes to me making the second video, he gets extremely mad, because when I read this, the voice in my head sounds very angry. That's the kind of voice I hear him speaking with this. So he got mad at me for making the second video, but he's completely fine with me making the first video, and even pushed me to watching the second video. And then furthermore, in his second video, he says, comment if you think I'm wrong. I read all the comments. This is actually true. So if he's fine with people commenting on why he's wrong, why is he not fine with me making a video saying why he's wrong? I think maybe part of that, a potential reason, is that he doesn't like me benefiting off of this kind of reply, because if I just replied in his comments, I would not be gaining any subs, views, or likes. But if I make a video out of it, I can. And it's not like I use any of his clips, so you can't say that I'm stealing his content. I intentionally don't use people's clips. And then my other hypothesis is that maybe my arguments were just too strong for him. Because think about it, in the first video, he actually tried to rebuttal some of my claims, and he said, you didn't watch the second video. But then when I make the second video and I go into extreme detail on how his points don't make sense, that's when he gets mad and he's like, oh, you're trying to destroy me. This is a bad thing to try and to attack YouTubers that are bigger than you. He tries to sun me. This is not a good way to grow your channel. So yeah, I think he was intimidated by my actual video, and which is why he just refused to actually use Logos arguments and just tried to appeal to pathos, although unsuccessfully. And then I actually made a reply. Let's read it. You made a bad video, then got exposed. You told me you already addressed my points in the second video and that I was arguing in bad faith, which is basically challenging me to respond. Otherwise, I'd look deceitful. So I responded to the second as well. Now that you've gotten exposed again, you try to attack my character instead of my arguments. You didn't have to make either of those videos, yet you did. Backlash should be expected. That's one thing. I hate when I saw one video one time that they were saying, there was an artist community saying that sometimes people should be allowed to post and just not get any replies, not get any criticism. No, if you put something into the public, you have to expect that people can respond to it. You can't say, I'm going to put this out there and no one can say anything about it. That's not how the world works. I think that's a very selfish view. So if you put a video out there, you should expect people to reply, especially if you ask people to respond. You ask people to try and correct you if you're wrong. So let's continue. Backlash should be expected. You didn't have to reply to my first response and bait me into watching your second video, but you did. In the second video, you responded to some backlash with no problem, and at 10 minutes, you asked people to leave comments if they think you're wrong, which means you were still open to responses. So why does this video have you acting out of character when it's a product of your own actions? I said there's no malice and I meant it. You have some growing to do. So yeah, that's my comment for that. I think I handled that responsibly. I think I didn't sound angry. I think I sounded peacefully, and that's what I try to do now. Because sometimes I used to swear in the comments, and when I read them back, it sounds like I was angry, even though I wasn't. I mean, I was frustrated, but I wasn't like screaming, clenching my fist, punching the table angry. It was like a calm anger, kind of like these videos right now, or this video right now. And this last one is one that I got recently, one day ago from recording this, and I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't read the whole thing because this was part of what made me. I was like, I'm done replying to comments because people just they don't think. All right, let's see. It's on my how to abandon logic video, so it's connected to Dragon's Treasure. I agree with only one thing in this video, and it's the usage of hand signs might become irrelevant due to the mastery of them. That's a very good explanation. You contradict yourself a lot here. You say, well, technically Donzo is a ninja, but okay, so then he was right. Come up with a different example. See, what I was doing is that I recently learned this. It's called a steel man argument. It's where you enhance the opponent's argument to its logical conclusion. You extrapolate on what they're trying to say instead of nitpicking on what they have said. So I even explained that in my second video, how to dig your own grave. I looked at all the possibilities. I said that I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but if he was saying that, I'm not going to re-explain it here, but basically there were a lot of inconsistencies in what he was saying, because if he was saying that every villain shouldn't be a ninja, that doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe I'll just play the clip. In his comment on my video, he made fun of my Donzo argument. Let me explain my thought process. I gave him the benefit of the doubt and assumed that he was arguing that the world of Naruto is somehow unrealistic because all of the threats are combat and action based. That's a bad argument, but I decided to counter it on his terms by bringing up how politicians are threats for their political power, not their combat. But his comment on my video shows that I shouldn't have given him the benefit of the doubt. His argument was not as complex as I assumed. His entire problem was that all threats are or were ninja. That's it. In a ninja world focused on ninja heroes, he considers having all or mostly ninja antagonists as part of how Naruto destroyed his world building. Where's the retcon? The story started off with ninja threats and ends with ninja threats. That's consistency, which is the opposite of what he's arguing. Next, saying the Manji formation was still relevant, then saying, well, actually the one Shikamaru used wasn't the Manji formation. Okay, then it wasn't relevant. Okay, this is a good example of steelman argument, because if I were to take what Dragon Treasure said at face value from my memory, he would have said that his thesis or premise is that Naruto destroyed his world building, and his supporting argument is that the Manji formation never reappears. So then his argument would be Naruto destroyed his world building because the Manji formation never appeared. That sounds completely stupid. So I mean, I think we can all agree. It's just not even about all agree. We know that sounds dumb. To me, that just sounds dumb. You're saying that a story destroyed its world building because one specific topic, one specific thing, attribute of the story, the world building, the setting, never appeared again. That's stupid to me. So you know what I did? I steel-manned his argument. I enhanced it to its logical conclusion and assumed that instead of saying that the Manji formation never appeared again, formations in general never appeared again, because that's a stronger argument. Next, you should go after every manga for this too. He's quoting me. People will and often do, especially when it comes to Dragon Ball Z. Just because it happens a lot doesn't mean it's okay. That's like doing something illegal, but then saying, but they did it too. Okay, you still have to deal with the consequences. I actually agree with this, but the thing is, you're taking what I said out of context. I was just calling attention to his hypocrisy and character. This was after I already countered every single one of his arguments. Then I said, okay, if you're going to criticize Naruto for doing this, which I don't think is logical, then you should criticize all of these other stories for doing that. But you're not doing that, are you? So I was calling attention to the hypocrisy in his character. But of course, this person is not going to realize that, because they are in it. They clearly have some hostile intent, because they're just bad at listening, and they're not actually listening to my argument, and they're hearing what they want to hear from me. You slapped a general term on his praise of Dragon Ball Z, but weren't specific about what he was talking about. Your video makes it sound like he was okay with all the powers they displayed, but that's not what he was talking about in this video. In the video, what he was referring to was breaking the barrier, if you will. They need to find new and unique ways to introduce new characters and expand their world, which is why he referenced aliens and whatnot. I'm sure if you asked him how he feels about over-the-top power usage, he would probably say it's BS. No, he was not specific about his breaking the barrier. I used Dragon Ball Z as an example because his explanation of breaking the barrier, by his own explanation of breaking the barrier, DBZ would have done that too. DBZ would have broken the barrier in an incorrect way, and I'm saying that if Naruto broke the barrier, then you should also criticize DBZ for breaking the barrier as well. I believe that's what I was saying. I haven't rewatched the video. The length of your response is not equal to the quality of your argument. Your mindset feels very uneducated and immature. I never said that. What I said was, he has this long video, right? And then my response is extremely short. That means that the amount of content I was able to respond to is low. So his video was not, that's what I was saying, his video was not that good. Let's actually see the quote. Alright, here's what I said. The proof of how bad this video is the length of my response. His video was 14 minutes long and my reply is little over 1 page. Chucklesby had a 20-minute video, just 6 minutes more, and my reply was 4.5 pages long. What I was saying is that his argument lacked content. His video, that's what I'm saying, his proof of how bad his video is. His video was bad because it lacked enough content for me to actually respond to, despite its length. Now, it doesn't even matter about it kind of does, but I didn't have a lot of things to respond to with the length of his video. Maybe you could argue that just because you stall a lot, that doesn't make your video bad. I do think that decreases the quality of your video, but the quality of his argument was very poor because my response was significantly shorter than his video. So part of that means that a lot of the video was not actually spent making good arguments. And you can compare that to the Chuckles P, because his video was 20 minutes and the entire video he was making arguments with logic and like supporting evidence, and so I had to spend around the same amount of time countering those arguments, explaining them and explaining how they lack their logic. That's what I was saying. But again, this person can't come to that logical conclusion because they either, I think they think lowly of me, or they're just trying to hear what they want to hear. Last thing I'll say is that you claim to be a better writer than him and know what good writing looks like. You have one manga to your name with no reviews, but it's to its name. Alright, so this guy decided that he wanted to take a shot at me. I can tell. You see, this guy didn't have to include that. He could have used logic, but he wanted to bring up my manga. That's why he did this. He wanted to say something negative about it. So here's the thing. There are several YouTubers who let me start with myself. My credit is not in the manga that I've written. Eventually I would like it to be, but my credit is in the amount of writing, the 300 plus writing videos on my channel. Just like there are several other writers like Tyler Morey, or Savage Books, Hello Future Me, or Critical Drinker, who you would say are good writers because of how they criticize writing and how they say writing should be done. You're not looking at, how many books do you have and how many reviews does that book have. Reviews doesn't even quantify how good a story is, because that's bandwagon theory. That's bandwagon fallacy. But again, if this were another YouTuber, would he be saying stuff like that? Oh, you haven't written any books. so you can't be a good writer. You can tell by this video alone that my arguments in writing are, or you should be able to, that my arguments in writing are better than his, and that's why I'm saying I'm a better writer than him. You're not going to his channel and saying, oh, how many books has he written? Are you? That's just a call to hypocrisy. I'm not saying that because you might make that assumption. This person might make that assumption. I'm not saying that saying how many books you write is a good argument. I'm just calling you out on your hypocrisy of your bad argument. Anyway, I will be reading it and giving it an honest review because I suspect you don't have the knowledge in writing that you claim to. So this man is going to buy my manga just to insult me. That's crazy. I have never had a hater to that level. Hey yo, I'm honored. As Riley from the Boondocks said, if people are hating, you're doing something right. I won't be posting it to my YouTube or anything. I will leave feedback on Amazon where it's linked. None of this to discredit you as a person, including reviewing your manga. I wish only for people to succeed. How is that not to discredit me? Oh wait, I missed some of this. I am not an expert either, but I actually do have a bit of experience. I'm going to university currently, and part of the curriculum dips into storytelling and script writing. I won't be posting it to YouTube or okay. I don't think you need to go to university for art. I don't think you can objectively teach art. I think that's a waste of money. I don't know what you're doing there. He said it's not to discredit you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You specifically said I will be reading it and giving it an honest review because I suspect you don't have the knowledge in writing that you claim to do. That is literally discrediting. Let's look up the definition of discredit. Harm the good reputation of someone or something. That's exactly what you're doing. I've never had a hater on that level. That's crazy. Alright, maybe in the next video I will be looking at why isn't Nami as hated as Sakura, because that got a lot of negative comments as well. But yeah, I might continue to do this. I was thinking of also finding a way to include debates into my videos, live debates. I don't think live debates are actually conducive or good for judging how good an argument is, because I think live debates are just performance pieces. It's about who has better charisma, who is better at talking, who is faster on their feet. It's not about who actually has the better argument most of the time, because you can just trap someone in a box and then the argument just stays there for the entirety of the argument, because you can be slimy. You can win by being slimy. You can be charismatic and slimy at the same time too. So I think most of it has to do with charisma, and it has to do with fluid intelligence. So that might be it. That's why I'm not reading comments, or I'll only be reading comments when I'm making these types of videos. I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, I'll see if I can find a way to debate people. I will do live debates purely for entertainment purposes and to post videos, not to actually prove that I'm right. I mean, I guess it could prove that I'm right, but I don't believe that. I believe that a live debate is how you get your answer on who's right or who's wrong. Well, that's it for the Story Surgeon. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.